Good afternoon, everybody. I am Mike Berlin. You're watching Wild Fed Family, and thank you for watching. Now, today I'm going to be making something that is a staple to deer hunters and something that everybody with a deer hunting friend knows about, and that is venison jerky. I'm going to be making it in two different ways. Now, I have the whole meat jerky, and typically every year I kill about 5 to 6 deer, and I also have 3 cuts that I get out of the hind quarter, and that is the top round, the bottom round, and the sirloin. Now, those are great for roast, but I'm not going to make 36 roasts a year, so this is a great muscle meat to use for jerky. And if you want to know where those cuts come from and how they're processed, I'm going to put a link at the end of this video. It's actually going to be a card, and just click on that video when you get done watching this one and you'll know where those cuts come from. The second one that I'm going to be doing is a ground jerky recipe, and that is really nice because it breaks apart easily. It's tender. It's almost like the Jack Link sticks. Now keep on watching, and I'm going to show you how I make something really good for my family that comes from the woods, and it's a great way to use up the extra meat that's in your freezer. So let's go make some jerky. So I'm back in the kitchen now, and let me show you what I'm working with. So right here in front of me, I have the venison sirloin. And set that aside. I have a top round, and I also have a bottom round. I have a couple others mixed in, but the point of this is that you need to have this stuff semi-frozen. It's gonna slice way nicer and way more uniform rather than trying to use a thawed piece of meat. So I'm gonna go ahead and start slicing this stuff up. And there's 2 ways that you can make jerky. Now, one is going to be slicing against the grain, and that's gonna give you a really easy break apart, tender kind of jerky. The other way is to slice with the grain, and what I prefer is to slice with the grain. Now you can see on this bottom round, there's a very obvious grain that goes north-south right here, and I'm going to slice it like this rather than like this, and that's going to give me a nice, almost chewy, pull apart, stringy jerky rather than a crumbly break apart. So I'm going to break the knife out, start slicing it into about 3/16 inch slices, and we'll go from there. I got 5 pounds to slice, and got some work to do. So this right here is roughly 6 pounds that is sliced up, ready for jerky, but the recipe calls for 5 pounds. Now this right here is a packet of jerky seasoning and a cure that you can get from Walmart for like $5. This is what I use for a base. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more salt, a little bit more seasonings, and it's gonna be just fine for the 6 pounds. So yeah, go to Walmart, get you some of the Premium Chef Blend Gamekeeper Jerky Cure, and you're gonna be in business. All right, now with this batch, I had told you that I'm gonna use this as a base seasoning, and that's exactly what it is. So I got the cure, the seasoning all worked in. It's basically salt, pepper. It gives you the right salt content. I'm gonna add a pinch more, but I'm gonna take it from here and turn it into a barbecue, like a hot barbecue kind of jerky. So first thing I'm gonna add is a little extra black pepper, and you really can't go wrong with black pepper on jerky. Secondly, I'm gonna add some dinosaur barbecue sauce. Now this is by far the best barbecue sauce out there, and I'm gonna be generous with it. I don't know, probably a third of a bottle. And then for the heat, what I'm gonna go with is some crushed red pepper. And give that a generous sprinkle. Yeah, I'd say that's about enough. And you really don't have to work with measurements, you know, just whatever you want. Use that as a base and spice it up with flavor as needed. The last step of all of this is that it calls for a 1/4 cup of water. Well, we're not going to use water. We're going to use some Coors Light. Definitely not Bud Light, because, yeah, you know why. So, give it about a 1/4 cup of beer, and that's enough to mix it up. So the reason I did the whole jerky muscle first is because it's going to take the longest for all of the seasonings and cure to penetrate that meat. Now, while I season it first, it's going to go in my fridge and sit for 24 hours, and it's going to be dehydrated last. So in the meantime, I'm going to do the ground jerky. So let's get started on that. So while that jerky is marinating, we're going to move on to the ground jerky. Now, what I have here is 5 pounds of ground venison, lean, no fat added. That's what you want. So it's cubed up right here, and I sliced it up, and all of this is about 75% frozen. Now, I'm gonna add a couple things, and I'll show you what they are. First is gonna be the $5 pack jerky cure seasoning from Walmart, just like I did with the other one. Secondly, just like the first batch, I'm gonna spice it up a little bit, and I'm going with the mango habanero sauce from Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, I don't know if you've had this, but it is spicy, it is sweet, and it is really good. Now I just need to mix this up, send it through the grinder, and be in business. So a little change of plans. It's the next morning, and about 5 minutes before I was gonna grind this up, last night we had a thunderstorm come through, and there's marble-sized hail, took out trees, took out the power. So my jerky plans were kind of put on halt. So power's back on, and we can run this grinder, we can run the dehydrator. So I'm gonna start making jerky again. So this next step is pretty straightforward. Right here, I have basically a caulk gun for meat. Now, you're able to stuff this up. At the end, it's got sort of a squish nozzle, so it's gonna just shoot you out a strip of ground meat. And all I'm gonna do is stuff it, put this on the end, and squirt this stuff right out onto the trays for the dehydrator. In the tube it goes. I like to stuff it like this because what you're doing is eliminating most of your air bubbles rather than, you know, making meatball size shapes and then stuffing it in. So there you go. You got a tube full of meat. And let's see if I can't squeeze that on. Yeah, overstuffed it just a little bit. And there we go. Ready. Start shooting jerky. And there you have it. You got a tray of jerky that's ready for the dehydrator. So as I make these, I'm just gonna go ahead, slide them in. So the whole dehydrator is loaded up. I'm gonna set this at about 155 degrees, and I'll check back in a couple hours. All right, so all of this has been in there for roughly 4 hours. Now, while it's not all the way done, what I want to do is go through and kind of flip it over Not that you really have to, but it just prevents it from sticking to this grate. Makes it easier for me in the future, and just rotates it so that the air is hitting it a little bit differently. So what was on top, I want to go on the bottom, and what was on the bottom, I want to flip and rotate, move it to the top. Well, there you have it. 9 hours later, the first batch is done. So I'm gonna enjoy this, and tomorrow I'm gonna put the whole muscle jerky in, and we'll make some more. It's a new day, and it's on to batch number 2. So I have all of this whole muscle jerky that's been marinating for roughly 48 hours now. So all I'm gonna do is load it onto my racks, put it in the dehydrator, 155 degrees, until it's the right consistency that I'm looking for. So I pulled the jerky out of the dehydrator at roughly 9:30, 10 o'clock last night. Did not take a video, but here it is, and it is really good looking. So in the meantime, I just got off of work. I'm in the process of vacuum sealing all the jerky, not only the sticks, but the whole muscle jerky. And it's been a little bit of a chaotic evening, so I'd love to show you more. But currently, I have my lab whelping puppies right here in my kitchen. So kind of got my hands full. I'm gonna show you what I got in the morning when I have all this vacuum sealed, and you'll get the full picture of what 10 pounds of jerky looks like after you have worked the last couple afternoons on it. And I'm really glad I did, because I got snacks for a long time. So that right there is the final product and a finished project. Now I ended up with 24 packs of jerky, and actually had a little bit more than that because I was eating it the whole time I was pulling it out of the dehydrator. But it's way better to have 24 packs of really good stuff that you know you made, you know where it comes from, and you have control over the flavor, the freshness, the packaging, everything. It's just a really great product. And anyway, I'm gonna go edit this video. I'm gonna snack on some venison jerky. And yeah, if you like this kind of content, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.